आप सबको आज वर्ल्ड वाटर डे की बहुत सारी मुबारकबाद। आज का दिन, जैसा आप सब जानते हैं कि पानी, वाटर इंसान की ज़िंदगी में बहुत ही अहमियत का हामिल है। इस दिन को आज सुबह से हम सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं। मौलाना आज़ाद उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी के टीचर्स, स्टाफ और स्टूडेंट्स लोगों के बीच में एक अवेयरनेस क्रिएट करने के लिए खास तौर से पानी को लेकर, पानी के बचाव को लेकर प्रोग्राम कर रहे हैं। उसी ज़िम्न में आज ये प्रोग्राम की दूसरी कड़ी है, जिसमें हम सब अपने जो एक्सपर्ट्स हैं इस फील्ड के, उनसे सुनेंगे और तबादला ख्याल करेंगे। मैं सबसे पहले बहुत ही अदब और एहतराम के साथ हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी के वाइस चांसलर आली जनाब प्रोफेसर सैयद ऐनुल हसन साहब, आज के मेहमान खुसूसी जनाब डॉक्टर VM तिवारी साहब, हमारे गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर जनाब M वेदा कुमार साहब से दरख्वास्त करते हैं कि आप स्टेज पे तशरीफ लाएं। सर, मैं आज के इस पूरे प्रोग्राम के रूह रवां प्रोफेसर शकील अहमद साहब से भी दरख्वास्त करता हूं मैं प्रोफेसर SM रहमतुल्लाह साहब, प्रो वाइस चांसलर मौलाना आज़ाद नेशनल उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी से भी दरख्वास्त करूंगा, सर आप भी हमें स्टेज पे ज्वाइन करें। हाँ, आज हमारे ऑनलाइन भी हमारे एक गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर जुड़े हुए हैं। मैं सबका मौलाना आज़ाद नेशनल उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी की तरफ से इस्तकबाल करता हूं, खैर मकदम करता हूं।
थैंक यू।
सभी लोग आज कई किलोमीटर की एक जो बेदारी मुहिम थी, एक मार्च था, वो सुबह से कर रहे हैं। बच्चे फिर रिफ्रेश होकर हमारे दरमियान हैं, ये बहुत खुशी की बात है। प्रोग्राम के आगाज के लिए हमारे ऑनरेबल वाइस चांसलर साहब की इजाजत से मैं दरखास्त करता हूं इस प्रोग्राम की शुरुआत के लिए हमारे इंस्ट्रक्शनल मीडिया सेंटर के साथियों से कि वो यूनिवर्सिटी का ताराना पेश करें।
ये जामियाए ज़बान उर्दू, ये जामियाए ज़बान उर्दू, ज़बान उर्दू का आशिया है, ज़बान उर्दू का आशिया है। ये जामियाए ज़बान उर्दू, ये जामियाए ज़बान उर्दू। कलाम सारे है दर्ज रूह में, कलम से उतरा हुआ बदन है। ये इल्म का शहर घर है मेरा, मेरा मदरसा मेरा वतन है। तालीम का मौसम है, तहजीब की फसलें हैं, हम रोशनी करते हैं, सूरज की नस्लें हैं। उर्दू की उड़े खुशबू, ये जामियाए ज़बान उर्दू, ये जामियाए ज़बान उर्दू, ये जामियाए ज़बान उर्दू, ये जामियाए ज़बान उर्दू। जो दाना गुजरे थे इस ज़मीन से, जो दाना गुजरे थे इस ज़मीन से, वो इल्म के बीज बो गए हैं। बड़े हुए जब पौधे बढ़ के, हमारे कद ऊंचे हो गए हैं। हम चांद की पेशानी जब छू के निकलते हैं, कायनात में है पाँव और मार्स पे चलते हैं।
उर्दू की उड़े खुशबू,
ये जामिया है ज़बान उर्दू, 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 ज़बान उर्दू का आशिया है, ये जामिया है ज़बान उर्दू।
बेहद शुक्रिया। ये तराना गुलजार साहब ने अपनी कलम से लिखा है और इसके तराने के बाद मैं आवाज़ देना चाहूँगा अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी के दो बहुत जिम्मेदार प्रोफेसर्स, प्रोफेसर नजमुल हसन साहब स्कूल ऑफ साइंसेज और प्रोफेसर सलमा अहमद फारूकी मैडम डायरेक्टर सेंटर फॉर डेक्कन स्टडीज से कि आप भी स्टेज पे तशरीफ लाएं। और इसके साथ ही मैं प्रोफेसर नजमुल हसन साहब फॉर्मर डीन स्कूल ऑफ साइंसेज से दरखास्त करूंगा कि आज वेलकम एड्रेस हमें दें और मेहमानों का इस्तकबाल करें। प्रोफेसर सैयद नजमुल हसन साहब।
शुक्रिया प्रोफेसर फरियाद। अस्सलाम वालेकुम, आदाब अर्ज़ है, गुड मॉर्निंग टू वन एंड ऑल। इज़्ज़त माब शेखुल जामिया प्रोफेसर सैयद ऐनुल हसन साहब, नायब शेखुल जामिया प्रोफेसर SM रहमतुल्लाह साहब, इंचार्ज रजिस्ट्रार ज़हर साहब मेरे बहुत अच्छे दोस्त हैं, लेकिन मेरा एक प्रॉब्लम है, मैं वालिद से नाम भूलने का कुछ इनहेरिट किया हूँ। ज़हर साहब भी। मेहमान खुसूसी डॉक्टर VM तिवारी, डायरेक्टर NGRI, नेशनल जोग्राफिकल रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट and in charge director IICT, which is Indian Institute of Chemical Technology. हिजाजी मेहमान डॉक्टर गोविंदन कुट्टी जो हमारे साथ केरला से जुड़े हुए हैं, मिस्टर वेदक कुमार मणिकोंडा साहब, चेयरमैन डेक्कन हेरिटेज एकेडमी, प्रोफेसर शकील अहमद साहब, द टॉर्च बेयरर ऑफ टुडेज प्रोग्राम, प्रोफेसर सलमा फारूकी, डायरेक्टर सेंटर ऑफ Deccan Studies, who is the co-coordinator of the program, Asatiza और dear but students, स्कूल से हमारे आए हुए मेहमान, मैं आप सबका स्कूल बराए साइंस और सेंटर ऑफ डेक्कन स्टडीज़ की जानिब से खैर मकदम करता हूँ। आई वेलकम वन एंड ऑल। जैसे आप जानते हैं, आज 22 मार्च वर्ल्ड वाटर डे की तरह मनाया जाता है। इस साल इस दिन का मौजू है ग्राउंड वाटर मेकिंग द इनविजिबल विजिबल। पानी हम जानते हैं एक बड़ी नेमत है और इससे संभाल के रखना ये हमारी जिम्मेदारी नहीं, ये हमारा ज़रूरत है। सो ऑलमोस्ट ऑल द लिक्विड फ्रेश वाटर in the world comes as ground water। आज हम जानेंगे ये ग्राउंड वाटर के बारे में और इसकी अहमियत, और ये रहमत को बचाना ज़रूरी है। मौलाना आज़ाद नेशनल उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी का क़याम 1998 में हुआ था अंडर द एक्ट ऑफ पार्लियामेंट, और इट्स द पर्पस ऑफ आवर यूनिवर्सिटी इज़ टू प्रमोट उर्दू, टू इम्पार्ट हायर एजुकेशन एंड एजुकेशन इन उर्दू लैंग्वेज। Presently, MANUU has 7 schools. It has 19 departments. We have presence across India. We have centers from Srinagar, Lucknow, Badgam, Bihar, all over India. And we function in both regular and distance mode. School of Sciences was founded in 2006, and we have 5 subjects: mathematics, physics, chemistry, botany and zoology. And in School of Sciences, we offer a BSc with maths, physics, chemistry, maths, physics, computer sciences, and botany, zoology, chemistry. We have a postgraduate program in mathematics and PhD program in all the 5 subjects. I'll be very brief with being here because there are experts here we would be interested in hearing. A word about the Center for Deccan Studies, H.K. Sherwani's Center for Deccan Studies. This was founded in 2006, and since inception for a long period, Professor Salma Farooqi has been in charge of it. This basically functions to look into and work on research areas on Deccan studies, various aspects of it, historical importance, social implications, and various things. And they regularly, it's a research center, and they very regularly come out with exceptionally good releases. They come out with a book, an album, which are extremely valuable and very well taken. So with this, I welcome you all for this program, and I hope you all enjoy. Thank you.
बेहद शुक्रिया सर। मुझे ये आज ये बताते हुए भी खुशी हो रही है कि मौलाना आज़ाद नेशनल उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी अपनी सिल्वर जुबली सेलिब्रेशन ईयर भी मना रहा है, सेलिब्रेट कर रहा है। साथ ही साथ हुकूमत हिंद की हिदायत पे यूनिवर्सिटी आज़ादी का अमृत महोत्सव भी मना रही है, जो 75 हफ्तों तक चलने वाला एक सेलिब्रेशंस है, और यूनिवर्सिटी के तमाम जो हिस्सेदार हैं उसमें बहुत जोश व खरोश के साथ पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं। मैं दरख्वास्त करता हूं हमारे स्कूल ऑफ साइंसेस की फैकल्टी डॉक्टर इरा खान साहिबा से कि आज के इस प्रोग्राम के हवाले से, इवेंट के हवाले से, वर्ल्ड वाटर डे के हवाले से हम सबको रोशनास करें। डॉक्टर इरा खान।
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया फरियाद सर। अस्सलाम वालेकुम, वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग टू ऑल ऑफ यू। ये माना जाता है कि अर्थ पे ज़िंदगी पानी से ही शुरू हुई थी। पानी ना सिर्फ तमाम लाइफ फॉर्म्स के लिए ज़रूरी है, बल्कि माहौलियाती निज़ाम के लिए कीमती खिदमत भी अंजाम देता है। तमाम मज़ाहिब पानी को बहुत अहमियत देते हैं, हम सब जानते हैं, जैसे कि जमजम वाटर, हिंदुइज़्म में गंगा जल है, ईसाइयों में होली वाटर है। हर मज़हब पानी को बचाने और उसके तहफ़्फ़ुज़ पर भी ज़ोर देता है। जैसे कि इस्लाम में बताया गया है कि अगर दरिया के किनारे भी आप वज़ू कर रहे हैं तो आप पे ये लाजिम है कि आपको पानी की बचत करना है। लेकिन आबी वसाइल पर बढ़ते हुए दबाव की वजह से पानी की किल्लत की परेशानी भी हमारे सामने बड़े पैमाने पर नज़र आने लगी है। मुस्तक़बिल में किसी भी दूसरे फसादात से ज़्यादा पानी की वजह से होने वाले फसादात होने का अंदेशा है। पानी की कमी आज सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है हमारे सामने। आज भी लोग पानी के लिए मीलों पैदल चलते हैं। लिहाजा वक्त का तकाजा है कि इस कीमती कुदरती वसाइल के लिए संजीदगी के साथ हमें कुछ करना चाहिए। तो मौलाना आज़ाद नेशनल उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी के स्कूल ऑफ साइंसेस और सेंटर ऑफ डेक्कन स्टडीज़ के जानिब से मुनक़्क़िद इस प्रोग्राम में हम सब अपनी ज़िंदगी में पानी की अहमियत का मुशाहदा करेंगे और इसके तहफ़्फ़ुज़ के तरीक़े के बारे में जानेंगे। हर साल 22 मार्च को वर्ल्ड वाटर डे फ्रेश वाटर की अहमियत और फ्रेश वाटर वसाइल के सस्टेनेबल मैनेजमेंट पर तवज्जो मरकूज़ करने के लिए मनाया जाता है। साल 1992 में रियो डी जनेरियो में एनवायरनमेंट और डेवलपमेंट पर यूनाइटेड नेशंस की कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई थी। यूनाइटेड नेशंस की जनरल असेंबली में एक रेजोल्यूशन पास किया जिसमें 22 मार्च को वर्ल्ड वाटर डे के तौर पर मनाना करार पाया, और पहला वर्ल्ड वाटर डे 1993 में मनाया गया। हर साल वर्ल्ड वाटर डे फ्रेश वाटर के ख़ास पहलू को उजागर करता है। ये दुनिया भर में मुख्तलिफ तकरीबात के साथ मनाया जाता है। वर्ल्ड वाटर डे का थीम साफ पानी, सैनिटेशन और हाइजीन से मुताल्लिक मौज़ूआत पर मरकूज़ होता है, जो यूनाइटेड नेशंस के सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स का गोल 6 के टारगेट्स के मुताबिक हैं, जिसमें सबको 2030 तक पानी और सैनिटेशन मुहैया कराना है। सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स की एक बड़ी दिलचस्प बात यह है कि इसके तमाम 17 गोल्स कहीं ना कहीं पानी पर मुनहसर है। वर्ल्ड वाटर डे मनाने का मकसद दुनिया भर में लोगों को पानी से मुतालिक मसाइल के बारे में जानने और उसके लिए इक़दाम करने की तरगीब देना है। यूएन वाटर वर्ल्ड वाटर डे का कन्वीनर है और हर साल के लिए थीम का इंतखाब यूनाइटेड नेशंस की ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के साथ मशावरत से करता है। इस साल वर्ल्ड वाटर डे का थीम है ग्राउंड वाटर मेकिंग द इनविजिबल विजिबल, जो यूएन वाटर ने डिसाइड किया और इंटरनेशनल ग्राउंड वाटर रिसोर्स असेसमेंट सेंटर ने तजवीज़ किया। इस साल तवज्जो ज़ेरे ज़मीन पानी है। पिछले कुछ सालों के थीम थे वैल्यूइंग वाटर, वाटर एंड क्लाइमेट चेंज, वाटर एंड जॉब्स वगैरह। वर्ल्ड वाटर डे पानी के ह्यूमन राइट्स को यकीनी बनाने के लिए रोशनी डालता है। ग्राउंड वाटर या ज़मीनी पानी फ्रेश वाटर की एक शक्ल है जिसके बिना ज़मीन पर ज़िंदगी मुमकिन नहीं है। दुनिया भर में निस्फ पीने के पानी, 40% एग्रीकल्चर में इरिगेशन के लिए और इंडस्ट्रीज में 1/3 पानी की ज़रूरत ग्राउंड वाटर से पूरी की जाती है। ये मौसमियाती तब्दीली से मवाफ़क़त के अमल का एक अहम हिस्सा है। इन मुतासर कुन हक़ाइक़ के बावजूद पोशीदा ज़मीनी पानी ज़्यादातर लोगों के लिए नज़रों से ओझल है। इंसानी सरगर्मियों की वजह से पानी के वसाइल पर तेज़ी से दबाव बढ़ रहा है, जिसमें पानी की कमी और आलूदगी के मसाइल शामिल हैं। ज़ेरे ज़मीन पानी के तवाज़ुन के बिगड़ने की सबसे आम अलामत वाटर टेबल में कमी का होना है। इसलिए इस कीमती वसाइल की हिफाजत करना हमारा फ़र्ज़ है। पानी की हिफाजत का मतलब माहौलियाती निज़ाम के तमाम शक्लों की हिफाजत करना है। ज़मीनी पानी हमें नज़र नहीं आता, लेकिन इसका असर हमें हर जगह नज़र आता है। इसलिए हमें पानी के वसाइल को सस्टेनेबली मैनेज करने के लिए मिलकर काम करना होगा और इस मकसद को जहन में रखते हुए आज का ये प्रोग्राम ऑर्गेनाइज किया गया है। मैं बेहद ममनून और मशकूर हूँ हमारे वाइस चांसलर साहब जनाब एनुल हसन साहब की कि उनकी सरपरस्ती में इस प्रोग्राम का इनेकाद किया गया। उम्मीद करती हूँ कि इस प्रोग्राम के ज़रिए पानी की अहमियत का पैगाम सब तक पहुँच सके और इसके तहफ़्फ़ुज़ के लिए लोगों में बेदारी पैदा हो सके। और जैसा कि अभी फरियाद साहब ने यहाँ पर बताया कि हम लोग मौलाना आज़ाद नेशनल उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी की सिल्वर जुबली सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं, तो ये हम लोगों के लिए बहुत खुशी का टाइम है, वक्त है और मैं चाहूँगी और मैं उम्मीद करती हूँ कि इस प्रोग्राम के ज़रिए हम अहम मैसेजेस अपने साथ लेके जाएँ। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
बेहद शुक्रिया मैडम। इसके साथ ही मैं हमारे मेहमानान का इस्तकबाल करने के लिए एक पौधों के ज़रिए, ताकि उन पौधों के ज़रिए एक हमारा माहौलियात दुरुस्त हो सके, एक छोटा सा यादगार के तौर पे मैं अपने मेहमानों को देने के लिए स्कूल ऑफ साइंसेस की तालिबा राबिया तहसीन से दरख्वास्त करूंगा कि हमारे आज के चीफ गेस्ट जनाब डॉक्टर VM तिवारी साहब की खिदमत में एक पौधा पेश करें। ये PhD ज़ूलॉजी की फरतुन्नेसा जो MSc मैथ्स की स्टूडेंट हैं, मैं उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि हमारे आज के गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर जनाब वेद प्रकाश सर को ये पौधा दें। और इसी कड़ी में हम सबके हरदिल अजीज़ वाइस चांसलर आली जनाब प्रोफेसर सैयद एनुल हसन साहब को ये पौधा पेश करने के लिए मैं दरख्वास्त करता हूं हमारी NSS की वॉलंटियर अतहर साफिया से। मैं हम ऑनलाइन जुड़े हमारे गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर जनाब डॉक्टर गोविंद कुट्टी साहब का भी इस्तकबाल करता हूं इसी ज़िम्न में।
थैंक यू।
मैं अब आज दरख्वास्त करता हूं हमारे HK शेरवानी सेंटर ऑफ डेक्कन स्टडीज़ के असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर जनाब डॉक्टर A शुभाष साहब से कि आज के हमारे जो गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर हैं जनाब डॉक्टर गोविंद कुट्टी साहब, उनका इंट्रोडक्शन दें।
Good morning, Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, other dignitaries on the dais, and dear students, good morning. I take this opportunity to introduce our online speaker, Dr. V. Govindan Kutty. Dr. V. Govindan Kutty is an assistant professor of geography, Government College, Kerala. And he is a geographical expert and does research in hydrology and hydrogeology. He worked extensively on Kannada systems of Bidar, Bijapur, and Aurangabad. He has spent nearly 2 years mapping every detail, including condition assessment that played a key role in the restoration of Karez lines in Bidar. He is currently engaged in research to develop conservation plan for Naubat Karez cultural landscape of Deccan. Now I request Dr. V. Govindan Kutty to come onto the virtual platform and deliver his lecture on the theme Deccani Karez, Historical Water Supply System in Medieval India. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Subhash sir. Let me first of all thank the Urdu University, Maulana Azad Urdu University, for providing me an opportunity to be here on this occasion of World Water Day. Respected dignitaries on the dais and my dear students who are listening to this. So this is a presentation which we'll be doing it in a very short time, but discusses something of a very great water system that was in existence before all the technologies, modern technologies we had. And this was integrated into the urban planning system of those days, especially medieval period, 15th to maybe 17th century, late 17th century, we can say, or 18th century, early 18th century, right? And it used to provide water to the entire cities in the Deccan, right? Or maybe we can also say that the Deccan cities were made possible, right, because of these water systems as such. So today's presentation, before we go into that, the photograph that you are seeing was taken by the Hindu photographer, right, Mr. Giri. It's of the Bidar Karez system, that is the Naubat Karez system, right? And you can see it is fully flowing. You can see water flowing out of it, right? So let me proceed. Today's presentation has been structured in such a way that first I'll let you know what Kannada system is all about. Then we'll look into the spatial distribution of Kannada system in India, and we'll look into the history, little bit history of Kannada in India. Then city-wise, I'll tell you how many Kannada are there, where they are, right, and what's the condition of as such. And we'll look into some character-defining elements, because that is the only time that we'll have during this presentation as such. So this is already based on, so the entire presentation is based on one of my papers, a historical appraisal of Deccani Karez, challenges and prospects. This has been published in a archaeological journal called Heritage. It's a multidisciplinary journal brought out by Kerala University. So let me first tell what Kannada is, right? So Kannada is nothing but a subterranean channel or an underground channel that is cut below the water table. So you can see the diagram and you can see these dotted lines which represents the water table, and a tunnel has been dug right into which actually cuts the water table, and you will find this section right where it is cutting the water table becomes the water yielding section, and from here the water gets transported to the mouth, and from mouth there will be many different forms of transportation as such, right, in the form of maybe in the form of terracotta pipelines, or maybe surface channels which carries water to either for irrigation or into some cisterns for where it is stored, or to what you call the hammams, or maybe to the household level supplies, right? Now this tunnel is connected to the surface by a series of vents or wells, right? So this looks like lots of wells which is very much common to you, right? And it is interconnected by a tunnel system below the surface, right? So some of these tunnels are maybe 90 feet below the earth surface in India, right? So that is the that's the depth to which the Kannada in India have gone. But some of the Kannada in Iran have gone much beyond that, somewhere around 300 feet and all, right? So you can imagine the depth to which the Kannada systems have gone to extract water. Right, so you'll find the kannats are constructed in such a way that a mother well is first identified by water divining techniques. So there are various water divining techniques that are used, which you are well aware of. Right, there are traditional methods. Right, today we'll hear our chief guest speaking on one of the most modern techniques that have been developed. Right, now here what happens is the water divining is done, and initially a mother well is dug where they are able to find water, and from there water is taken to the place where it is required. Right, mostly the cities. So if you look into maps of Iran, especially the desert area, you'll find lots of holes. When you look into an aerial photograph, it looks something like this. There are lots of holes, right? But these are interconnected by a tunnel underneath. So this is how it looks from or a bird's eye view looks like, right? So in India, you may not find such a view because of good vegetation cover that is there on the surface. So otherwise, we would have also had a similar kind of aerial photograph for that particular, for the correct Kannat systems here, right? So in the construction mode is something like this. You'll find horizontally and vertically. So initially, the mother wells are dug, and then you'll find the tunnels are connected to each other. Right, so each of these vents are connected. So this is a laborious process, and you can imagine how many number of days or sometimes months or years it might have been taken to construct these systems, and especially the place where these are in existence in India. Right? Why I am telling this, you'll learn in next few slides. Now, so the technology, where does this technology come from? Right. So there are lots of arguments as such. Right. So most popular argument is that it comes from the Persian region. Right. So there are well-known authors like Henry Gobald and David Lightfoot, and so many of them who have argued about its existence. Even the first recording that was done by Polybius somewhere in 2006 BC indicates its existence in Persian region. That is when Achaemenid Empire was in power. But there are also arguments that it all started off in Arabia, and then it spread to other places. Now, you'll find Kannat is located in many places across the world, right? Even in the Western nations like USA and you can South America. These were carried by the travelers or the people who migrated to these places long back. Right? So you'll find them in Africa, Northern Africa, right? And you'll also find towards east in India and China. Of course, Balochistan area of Pakistan, Afghanistan, and all those Central Asian nations is well known. So for us, it is easier to think that these things came, or these technologies came to us from West Asian region. So that's the best conclusion we can have, because there is always a argument on where it started. Now, these are known by different names in different places, right? You'll find, in Iran it is known as Kannat, Iraq, similarly, Karez. In India, you'll find it is named as Karez, Kariz, or there are some local names which are well known in India, right? Some of them are like in Karnataka, we find these locally used words like Surang Bavi. Right? It doesn't mean something big. It is very simple thing. That is a tunnel. Surang is tunnel. Connecting. Bavi means well. Connecting wells. Right? Tunnel connecting wells. Very simple meaning. So that there are some historical references that are available. So wherein you'll find it has been mentioned as Kare Jari. Right? In Maharashtra, you'll find the historical text refer to these systems as Nahar. And in Madhya Pradesh, the Burhanpur system is referred to as Kundi Bandara. Right. Again, you can say storage is being stressed here. Right. Then you have a few new systems. That is, these were the systems which are not historical, especially those which are there in southern Karnataka and Kerala. They are either they are called Suranga or Turanga. Right, means small tunnel systems, or horizontal wells, as it is being referred to in the modern literatures. Right, so these are basically of 20th century, right? These don't have actual any historical linkage with these systems, but no, we haven't been able to find any such linkage or literatures which connect them to this, and they have certain uniqueness because of which we consider these two are similar but different kind of systems, right? Now, the distribution of Kannada system, spatial distribution, you'll find it is on the Deccan Plateau, except for Burhanpur, which is just lying north of the Tapi River, right? So it's along the Tapi River itself, right? So you'll find the most of us, it is located in the Deccan Plateau, where which is well known geology is of flood basalt or basaltic flows, right? A very well known hard rock as such, right? And another geographical importance is that these lie in an area where it receives less than 75 centimeters of rainfall, right, annually, or maybe we can say somewhere around 75 to 80 centimeters of rainfall annually, anyway below 100 centimeters rainfall annually. So these are dry or semi-arid areas, right, where water source is an important thing to have settlements, right, or agriculture. So historic period, we can see that the groundwater was being used or groundwater was being developed, or this technology helped in developing the growth of cities in the Deccan region, be it Bidar, Gulbarga, or Bijapur, or Hukkeri, Aurangabad, and Ahmednagar, and you have Burhanpur. It is an interesting story because Burhanpur is right on the banks of a major river called Tapi, but still then they have a groundwater system for drinking water purpose and other uses. So they were not, it is said that the written texts do mention that they were not using the waters of river Tapi. Instead, they were using the waters of Kundi Bandara for their daily uses. So a few more geographical importance. So this is the Deccan area where you can find, except for Bidar. Bidar has a unique geology wherein you have laterite formations on the Deccan Trap, right? So you have a huge area which is you might have seen that nearly red in color material. So this is it becomes this laterite becomes a very good aquifer because of the hard rock that is lying below it, the Deccan Trap that is lying below it, and that is one of the reason that Bidar has a little more you can say water availability when compared to the other regions or other cities that I have mentioned before, right? So and probably this was one of the reason why the capital of Bahmani Sultanate was shifted to from Gulbarga to Bidar, right? So which is well recorded in history. You'll also find the settling here. These are areas which are being semi-arid, and there are many times it happens that monsoon fails and this entire area goes under drought. And of late, you might have heard, in a very recent history, 2012, 2014, right, 2018, right. These are all near about drought years for us, right, especially in this particular area, and we know lots of social impacts that it has made. Right. Now, looking at the history, so I did search through lots of documents, and very little references available for most of the systems, especially of Bidar and Bijapur or Vijaypura as such. Bidar, only reference that we could find was in Marathi poetry, that Bakhar poetry basically, right, wherein it mentions about Ahmad Shah Wali, right, who was responsible for developing such water systems in Bidar. So the historical search or the literature search helped me to identify that Bidar might be the possibly the first place where Kannada systems in India was developed. So in Bidar, we have 3 such Kannada systems, which are, you can say, in raw in nature, or you can say which are the simplest structures that we'll find in among the Kannats in India, right? Because Kannats can be very complicated as well, something like what we see in Bijapur, right? So Bijapur, we have a Kannada system. There is only one Kannada system, but it is very complicated because it uses surface water as well as groundwater. There are many ways by which the water is stored and diverted into the tunnel systems and brought into the city. A very unique kind of watershed management that has been practiced in Vijayapura. Right, so they were very much resourcefulness of knowing their landscape and understanding how to bring water to the city was could be seen very clearly. Hukkeri is again a very small place where we haven't been able to map because the entire system is somehow only one well which I could locate. The rest of it is still a mystery. Right, so Hukkeri used to be, when Adil Shahis were in power, Hukkeri used to be their horticulture hub. Right, so all their flowers, fruits, etc., used to come from Hukkeri. So this is from historical literature that are available. Right, so there is one system, but it is still unknown. Maybe some young researchers who are sitting there listening to this, they can go there and try to discover this. Right. Now, there are the large number of systems can be seen in Ahmednagar and Aurangabad. Right, these are around 15 systems in Ahmednagar and 14 systems in Aurangabad. Burhanpur has 3 such systems, right, which actually joins together to form 3 systems, in the sense that one of them is a bit unique because it mixes up with pipelines as well. I'll come to them one by one. So this all these area except for Burhanpur, you'll find were part of the larger Bahmani kingdom. Later on, you all know this. All these kingdoms broke down into small dynasties. Bidar, Bari, you have the Golkundas, the Bijapur, the Ahmednagar, right, and the Berar. Right, so this is well known, well recorded in history. Now, when Bahmanis were in power, the systems in the water systems in Bidar was developed, and similarly, the development of water system in Bijapur was in progress. And later on, it was developed by the Adil Shahis who came into power, especially during the power of Ibrahim Adil Shah. Right. So the other systems are little more, be it Ahmednagar or Aurangabad, they came up at a later stage. Now, these are the maps. I don't know how much clear they are. So you'll find Bidar has 3 systems. The 2 of them are very close or within the city. The one which is named as Jamuna Mori is a completely secure system because it starts from a small lake within the city, right, and then flows into the old city. So it starts from Royal Enclosure, which has the triple moat and all. There is a small lake inside which is called Bomkondeshwara. So from there it starts and it flows into the old city area with several networks connecting it. The second network is the longest one in Bidar, which is called Shukla Tirth. Right, it starts from Gornali Kere, which is nearly 6 kilometers away from the city towards south of it, and flows to the outside the Royal Enclosure and actually feeds the moat that is there in the this triple moat that is there in Bidar Fort. Now, this system itself also has a pipeline network which leads to the neighboring village, providing them 24/7 water supply, pipelined water supply. Right. So, some photographs of Bijapur pipeline system we'll be seeing shortly. Then there was a plan to develop another city somewhere near 4 kilometers northwest of it. It is called Nobad. So this is where I have been working for quite some time, and we have been able to along with district administration and local NGOs like Bidar Yuva, we have been able to revive it to a certain extent. But the work is not yet over. Only a part of it was cleaned and debris removal was done. So it's a 3.84 kilometer long system with a branch also, right? And a very good water supply, somewhere around 120 to 150 liters of water per minute comes out of that particular system. Now, Bijapur, as I said, it is one of the most complicated systems that I have seen in India, with so many surface tanks which which are connected to this network. There are conveyor sections which carry the surface water to the main tunnel, right? And pipelines also from these from the tanks that are there, right? Surface tanks that are there which are which carry water, and there are valve systems to control the water flow into the tunnel system as such. So one of the longest system that I have seen, it starts from Torvi, some 8 to 12 kilometers away from towards west of main city of Bijapur, and it comes up to the inner citadel moat. So that is where the system ends. We haven't been able to discover the ending portion yet, because it is the urbanization that has happened has destroyed most of the surface evidences that we could find, right? So even the well, so up to Ibrahim Roja and the fort gates here, we have been able to trace the existence, and maybe a little bit into the inner area where we have the Taj Bawdi, right? Very close to Taj Bawdi it passes as such, right? Then the systems in Ahmednagar, so most of it come from outside the city, long, some of them 16 kilometers away from the city, right? And several channels have been dug. So maybe every time one channel dries up, new channels are dug up to bring water. Most of it comes from the higher reaches around the city. And you will find one unique thing about these Deccan cities is that they are located in the valley portion than the elevated portion. This is something unique to these cities, like be it Bijapur or Ahmednagar, and you'll find surrounding higher portions are being used to draw water from. So this is how it looks like in the Ahmednagar, inside the city area of Ahmednagar. Several channels coming into several main buildings that are there, be it the main masjids or the palaces of different rulers. Aurangabad, again, there are 14 systems, but I have been able to map two systems in a little bit good manner, right? The Panchaki system and the Begumpura system, right? So which is Panchaki is still functional to a very good extent, and you'll still find people using it. Even there is a floor mill, a historic floor mill that is located right on the this Nehre Ambari system, which is also sometimes referred to as this Panchaki system. Burhanpur, you have the three systems that are there. One, which is the most popular one is the Kundi Bandara, which is well-known tourist place as well. So it is well maintained by the Burhanpur Municipal Administration, which is functional to a certain extent. There is a huge railway line that is going across it, so the entire thing gets cut off there. There is a lot of collapsing that has happened inside the system, because of which the flow has been blocked. So you'll find this particular portion, which is known as Kundi Bandara, is still functional. People go there. They can even visit the inner part of it. The unique thing about this is that it starts from the Satpura Ranges alluvial fans, and it is completely constructed in the soft soil. So hence you will find a lot of constructions inside using lime mortar and bricks, right? So that the it doesn't collapse. And this is one of the deepest systems that I have seen, somewhere around 60 to 90 feet in depth. right? So there are other systems which are near about defunct, the Mool Bhandara system and the Chintaharan Bhandara system, right? So these two systems connect with the Kundi Bhandara system and then reach the city, and it takes an exit somewhere into the I think near Kali Mosque into the Tapi River. So these are some of the character defining elements which you will notice. The air vents that are there, the wells that I was talking about. So this is how it looks like from the surface. So air vents are very small, 1 meter, maybe approximately a meter square in Aurangabad and Ahmednagar. Right. Some of them come with a small filter tank also, right? So which is a little more deeper than the normal air vent, so that the sediments do get get collected, and only the fresh water flows forward, right? The Burhanpur system, you'll find they are round vents, again very small, less than a meter in diameter, right? And it is it's really one will really feel the danger when one goes down through these small vents. Now, it is very you can say very tight as such, when only one person can just simply go through into these vents, right? Bijapur, you have different types of vents. Some of them are open like these, right, wherein you have inner arches and all built using the basalt stones. Some of them you'll find have these type of, these are actually in ruins now. So this used to be, you can say there was a dome type of condition here. So it used to be completely closed, so that the waste materials or animals don't fall into it. So such kind of protection could be seen. But in Bidar, you'll find it is completely open. It is it's a normal open well without any parapet. That are huge wells, right? Some of them are 10 meter in dia, right? But the vents towards the city are smaller in dia, right? You'll find they are only 4 into 4 feet in the dimension. Some other characteristic elements that you will find is the some pressure, to keep the pressure of the source. You'll find such structures that are being built. These are something like water towers, right? So you have pipelines which are running like this in inverted U shape, right? So so that the pipes inside it will be at the top portion, will be at the same height of the source. That source height is maintained because the entire flow happens with gravity, and there is no pumping system or any modern system that is supporting it. So it is just gravity that is making the water flow. So you will find such smaller structures and some huge towers as well in Aurangabad city, right, which are normally called as Bomma or water towers. Right. So another most interesting thing is the terracotta pipelines. So if you go to Bijapur, you'll find huge pipelines, right? Some of them are 12 inches in dia. These are just 1 feet long, which are coupled together and then plastered over with the lime mortar or lime concrete. And some of these pipelines travel nearly 3 to 4 kilometers. Especially they had actually built these so that they can go across the terrain and reach the main carriage line. Right, so maybe 1 or 2 more slides. This is how it looks like from inside the carriage system. Bidar, you will find it is just it has been dug right through the laterite. So there is no built, or you can say there is no construction inside or protection inside as such. It is just carved into or dug into the laterite terrain as such. But other places, you'll find these were in Aurangabad and Ahmednagar. These were open trenching method have been used for construction, and then later on basalt slabs have been used on top. You can say in inverted V shape, and they have covered it up so that no one sees it from outside. So if you go to Aurangabad and Ahmednagar, you'll find there is a small track of concrete lime concrete that is there, below which you'll find the water systems like this. Bijapur, it has been dug into the basalt terrain as such, and these are very deep. Some places it takes or it goes as deep as 90 feet. Right, there are shallow areas as well where where it is just 10 meters deep or less than that. Those areas are where the water is conveyed from the surface water sources to this particular tunnel, which carries it to the city. And in Burhanpur, you'll find, because it is again something similar to Bidar, where it has been dug through the alluvial soil, right? But it has been provided with a wall protection. Now, this wall is not clearly visible here in the photograph because there is a lot of lime deposition that is happening on top. So you'll find, because it has been flowing through years, so you'll find whatever lime material is there, it gets deposited on the surface portion of these things, right? This is the mouth of the Bidar Kare system, Naubad Kare system, which had started flowing sometime in I think September 2015, and still now it is flowing. So that was the success story that we were able to create with the Kare systems, and hopefully these systems can if revived, can become decentralized supply sources, water supply sources for people within the cities. Now, if not attended to, what happens is that just like in Bidar and elsewhere that I have seen, especially in Bijapur, the groundwater gets polluted because sewer lines, especially the new settlements that are coming up, the toilet pipelines and all get connected to these systems, because people don't know, people are not aware that there is a water system that is there. And if sewer enters into these tunnels, what happens is that the entire area's groundwater gets polluted. So let's create this awareness that these systems needs to be conserved and protected, so that we can see the heritage survive, as well as it serves the people as well. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. It's a very informative and well-researched talk. I would like to thank you again.
Thank you.
Now I would like to invite our colleague, Dr. A. Shubhas, to introduce our guest of honor, Janab M. Ved Kumar Saab.
Thank you, Faryaz sir. I take this opportunity to introduce Sri Vedakumar Manikonda sir. Sri Vedakumar Manikonda has done his civil engineering from Mysore University and holds Master of Urban and Regional Planning from JNTU Hyderabad. Currently, he is holding the offices of President, Forum for Better Hyderabad, Governing Council member INTAC, and he is also Chairman of Deccan Heritage Academy Hyderabad, founder and Chairman of Telangana Resource Centre, editor of Deccan Land, a monthly magazine in Telugu. Now I request Sri Vedakumar sir to deliver his lecture on conservation of historical water bodies in Hyderabad city.
Thank you to everyone. I wish all of you a World Water Day, and I'm proud and happy to be part of MANUU University premises. What a wonderful premises we have. Okay. So, beautiful rock formation, and we saw the presentation of many wings in this university, and definitely I think it's one of the prestigious university in the country, and under the stewardship of Professor Saeed Anil Hassanji. I had an interaction just now. I know him very well, but I met him first time here. I have a little tie-up to plant one tree here one of the day I'll fix it up with him on the Green Challenge. I requested him. Hope you accept my proposal. And nice to see the young friends from every part of the country here learning. And जो हैदराबाद दक्कनी तहजीब है, जो उर्दू नहीं जानते तो बहुत तकलीफ है, क्योंकि बहुत कुछ अपना मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट्स में है, पूरा दुनिया अप्रिशिएट करते हैं अपना जो हैदराबाद की तहजीब, whether art, culture, literature, and history, it speaks. So, friends, today I'm presenting. I don't know. We have a mixed community here. The professors and scholars and students who are budding scholars here, and I'll try to I may not stick to my PPT because I presented on water at Berlin in 2007 about Hyderabad water and water bodies, and recently in Vienna it was virtual. I was supposed to be present there, but because of COVID I failed to go there on the Musi, historic river of Musi. So I made a mixed one today. I don't know whether PPT will go with me, but wonderful to share today with our experiences and also to share with you to have more concern about water and especially the historic water bodies and historic Moose River, to know little what I have studied, what I have concern. So this, I've done study in 2000, more than 20 years I'm working on water bodies and river Mosi and heritage and entire urban issues of Hyderabad urban agglomeration. And so we have done extensive comprehensive study in 2005 to 7 when Humbert University is interested to do something on the environment studies. So 2 years I headed this project to study the shape and form and about the Dakkani Plateau, the kind of beautiful rock formations we have, beautiful terrain. But this region, even from Kakatiyans, we can go back to 800, 900 years old. Then 2 rivers flows in this region. That's Krishna and Godavari from low areas. But entire Deccan region is a upland area. So that is the reason we had a different water systems in this Deccan region. So Kakatiyans are very popular all over the world, that they created link tank system. In Telugulo, Gulsukattu Cheruvulo antam, the links. So from higher plain to lower area, always water flows, you know that. So they try to create, they created water bodies in different areas because we have a beautiful rock formations and other things, and to collect water. And they connected one water body to other water body. So there's a surplus where bund we create, the least bund with a available terrain, and leave the water through surplus, any extra water above the water full tank level, it goes to surplus weir, and again nala, it goes to lower water body. So that's how entire agrarian system functioned in this Deccan region. So to talk about Hyderabad, and especially the Golconda is close to the Musi River. You know, Musi River, which starts in about 70 kilometers western side of Hyderabad. That is Anantagiri Hills, beautiful Anantagiri Hills. Especially 6th Nizam Mahbub Ali Pasha is very fond of that Anantagiri Hills. Even you can say entire Telangana region except Nalamala Forest. But close to Hyderabad is the best green patch we have, is Vikarabad. So always he is fond of going to Shikar to Vikarabad, and is a beautiful, even today is a beautiful, good forest we have and beautiful Anantagiri Hills. So this Musi starts from there. Then it crosses Hyderabad and goes via, this is a Suryapet project, and then Vadapalli, it meets in Krishna. So this Hyderabad region is almost like a जो सासर, कप का जो सासर होता है, is like a bowl. This bowl is called Basin 10. Under Krishna Basin is one of the 10 designated as a 10. जो हकीमपेट में भी पानी गिरा तो मूसी में आना पड़ेगा, और पहाड़ी शरीफ में गिरा मूसी में आना पड़ेगा. So it is not connected with Godavari river. It is connected with Krishna river. One of the basin is 10. Is it okay I am speaking like this? Because I have my young friends. I wanted them to.
Your Urdu is wonderful.
Yeah, but I just brought my Urdu basic books, 7 books recently. I want to learn Urdu as soon as possible because I have to access to the wonderful literature. So I'll be one among the promoting Urdu also. Now I've taken a mission to promote Urdu. And fortunately, I was supposed to be many times in your Center for Deccan Studies discussions, but through Zoom I was participating. I was away from Hyderabad sometimes. But Salmaji, Professor Salmaji, thankful to you for inviting me, making a part of this program. So जब उर्दू सोचा है मैं सीखने के लिए उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी में इतना जल्द से जल्दी मैं आ गया हूँ. So this entire region, when it flows, meets in Krishna at Vadepalli. So now we'll come back after this Kakatiyan's link tank system and agrarian culture when we talk about Qutub Shahis. So this Golconda is a northern side of the Musi river. And now later Hyderabad emerged southern side of the Musi river where Charminar founded. So we come down, and when Ibrahim Ali Qutub Shah, Kuli's father, so he decided before Hyderabad formation in 1562, he decided to have एक बड़ा बाग बनाना है. मेरा टर्म में बड़ा बाग बनाना है, एक बड़ा तालाब बनाना है, एक बेहतरीन मस्जिद बनाना है. उसमें एक तालाब के लिए जब हुसैन शाह वैली, he was a relative and also minister and expert engineer, he was commissioned to locate the place and construct a man-made talab. So that how this Hussain Sagar was formed in 1562. 2 किलोमीटर करीब करीब मिट्टी से जो बंद बनाए थे, मगर उसमें पानी नहीं आया. 3 साल तक तो थोड़ा नवाब साहब ये थे, अफसोस हो गए. बाद में फिर काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर को बुला के दिन एक्सपर्ट से बात करे तो ये मूसी रिवर अभी जो गंडीपेट को, उस्मान सागर को अपन गंडीपेट बोलते हैं, और हिमायत सागर, द ट्विन वाटर बॉडीज रिसेंटली कंस्ट्रक्टेड 100 years back by Asaf Jahis, especially Usman Ali Pasha साहब. So जब तालाब में पानी नहीं आया तो कैचमेंट जितना भी बने, मगर it was not coming, a good water catchment was not coming. Then the experts, they decided to put a trench from upstream side of Musi, that is जहाँ गंडीपेट है, थोड़ा ऊपर से बलकापुर चैनल बोलते हैं उसको, एक चैनल बनाए थे वहां से मूसी रिवर से. सो जो वहां से जो बलकापुर चैनल आके खैरताबाद नजर स्कूल से जो वहां से क्रॉस होके हुसैन सागर में जाता हो, तो चैनल बना. वो साल में हुसैन सागर में पानी आया था. सो दैट इज अ स्मॉल हिस्ट्री. नाउ हुसैन सागर इज हैविंग ए बंजारा नाला इज वन, बलकापुर चैनल इज वन. वो बलकापुर चैनल बीच में पूरा तोड़ दे के कुछ, I should not tell, but land coils, everything has come there. Now no channels are left over now, and don't take it that I'm criticizing somebody, but to have an understanding where the channel goes and other things, because now complexes having a more image than the heritage sites. So now another one is Kukutpalli Nala. There's one Kukutpalli Nala, Yusuf Guda Nala, and Picket Nala. These are the sources to Hussain Sagar. The beautiful fresh water is to come. But when the ruling was done from Golconda, then the water source was, main water source was from Durgam Charu. अभी जो केबल ब्रिज बन गया, अभी वैसा जानते हैं अपन, उसको सीक्रेट लेक भी बना दिए क्योंकि लव बर्ड्स गोज देयर ऐसे बना दिए नाम, मगर इट वाज नॉट सीक्रेटली, बट इट वाज सीक्रेट बिकॉज इट वाज ए वेल एलिवेटेड, जो बंजारा हिल्स के तरफ है, हिलक्स में है, छोटा कनेक्शन देने से, बंड देने से बेहतरीन तालाब बन गया जब। सो कुतुब शाही पीरियड में उसको बड़ा तालाब बना के ग्रेविटी में, ग्रेविटी वेरी गुड हाइट दे हैव, ग्रेविटी से हमारे कुतुब शाही टूम्स एज वेल एज इन फोर्ट दे हैव टेकन Durgam Cheru water. Those days it was a mashhur that it was a underground, they have taken from underground tunnel, they have taken the water from Durgam Cheru by underground tunnel through gravity to Golconda Fort. That's the beauty of it. And it was the best water, pure water. वहाँ एक छोटा मस्जिद भी बनाए थे कि there's a totally with a security. 24 आवर्स सिक्योरिटी के साथ रहते थे। वहाँ एक छोटा मस्जिद भी अभी भी है वहाँ। तो वहाँ भी एक छोटा फोर्ट भी, दुर्गम एक था पहला, उससे पहले वहाँ से दुर्गम चेरू से आया। लाइक दिस, एज आई टोल्ड यू दैट एंटायर दिस दक्कन रीजन with they created water bodies. So some of the water bodies was very much there to cater to the entire that city needs. So that's how this Qutub Shahi is ruled from Golconda, and this is a water body Durgam Cheru and many other small water bodies. And in 1562, the Ibrahim Ali Qutub Shah made a water body of this. छोटा स्टोरी यहाँ भी एक बताना पड़ेगा कि हुसैन शाह वली साहब जब कमीशन किए, जो 2 साल में जब बना रहे थे, तो जब सुपरविजन पे जाते थे, हजारा लोग काम करते थे वहाँ मिट्टी का काम। तो महबूब नगर से, इधर से उधर से आए। तो इब्राहिम अली कुतुब शाह साहब अभी कंप्लीट हो गए बोले, तो नाम लगाने के लिए एक विजिट किया, दौरा किया उधर हुसैन साहब के पास। तो सोचा कि ये लोग 2-3 साल से कैसा नाम से बात करते हैं, इंक्वायरी किया है। तो मजदूर से पूछा करते, तो इसको क्या बोलते रहे, बोले तो ये हम हुसैन साहब का तालाब बोलते बोले। और कोई मिस्त्री से पूछो तो हुसैन साहब का सागर बोलते साहब। ये सब सुनने के बाद इब्राहिम अली साहब सोचा कि इतना 2-3 सालों से ये लोग ऐसा ये नाम से पुकारे, तो मेरे इब्राहिम तालाब लगाने में कोई अच्छा नहीं है बोलकर हुसैन सागर नाम लगा के चले गए। चले जाने के बाद फिर सोचे कि फिर मेरा हुक्म में बड़ा तालाब बनाना है, तो फिर बुलाए एक आफ्टर फ्यू मंथ्स। Then he asked that you select another place little bigger than Hussain Sagar and we'll make a foundation stone for that. Then that how this Ibrahim Cheru, Ibrahim Patnam के तरफ जो बड़ा है, तो पहला सेलेक्ट करने के बाद, बंड का अलाइनमेंट लेने के बाद बोले कि चलो अपन दौरा करेंगे। तो जाने के पूरा कारवान उधर चले गया। तो बिगिनिंग ऑफ पॉइंट से लेके एंडिंग पॉइंट तक घोड़े पे बैठ के पूरा लोगों के साथ entire bund, they cleared the route. Then he made a foundation stone. Then he asked them to construct the talab. So that's how a small story, what I tell you, that those days he created a bigger water body than this. वो मूसा ईसा का उधर से, ईसा से पानी उधर भी जाता है। Then again ultimately it goes to Krishna river. So these things, after this, then 1591, and Kuli decided to have a city because this Golconda, a lot of density and a lot of health issues have come. Then they thought of a new city. Then that's how Kuli instructed Mir Momin, was an architect and minister and expert from Persia, though he was commissioned to study the cities in the world. Then plan a new city. So that's how Mir Momin has planned a city, southern side of the Musi River, where Charminar is there. So they model one of the best city by then is Isfahan city. I was telling Abhi Professor Sahab se bata raha tha ki Isfahan city, which is in Iran, and there we have a Imam Square, 2 minarets, but here they created 4 minarets Charminar, and best with a geometric proportions. And those days only they made a beautiful Bagh city. It's one of the best Bagh city. So how Hyderabad is a lake city, Bagh city, and bicycle city. And again, Sherwani, biryani, this is another popular. So this is the beauty. And that how what I tell you is this city with a more than 2,000 above the water bodies was existing in this metropolitan area, and more than 2,400 bags was there in this region, open spaces. That how we had a beautiful groundwater percolation, agriculture, entire good environment. They protected. So that's how this, when new city is formed, this Mirialam tank near zoo we have Mirialam tank, Afzal Sagar, many water bodies, Sarur Nagar, Shamirpet, Alwal, like this many water bodies as well was developed and used it for the different hundreds of villages. Is a combination is the Hyderabad city. छोटा गांव hamlet के सब मिलके Hyderabad city बना. So beautiful drainage system we have from Musi River. Every 2 kilometers, every kilometer there is a 2 meters of the gradient we have. That means everything they served entire water source through gravity. Then this Mirialam tank, then Asaf Jahi filters we have. Then see in 1908, Hyderabad faced the highest flood ever seen before that Asaf Jahi period, till Asaf Jahi period. I'm coming down to Asaf Jahi period, especially Mahbub Ali Pasha period. In 1908, Hyderabad had a highest flood. Then more than thousands of people washed away in the flood, and thousands of houses are also washed away. Then Mahbub Ali Pasha was little upset. Then immediately took a decision to open all the royal palaces and langar लगा के लोगों को पूरा जो घरा नहीं है जो है उन सब लोगों को ब्लैंकेट्स दे के उन लोगों को खाना दे के स्लम्स को एक बेहतरीन कॉलोनीज बनाने के बाद वो लोगों को फिर ये रिहैबिलिटेट किया गया है. So after this 1908 and he was upset also with this entire floods. Then he was sick and passed away in 11. Then Usman Ali Pasha has taken over. Then he also tried to see that Hyderabad should not have this kind of flood effect in future. That's how he constituted a city improvement board with experts of architects, engineers, artists, writers, thinkers, a beautiful city improvement board, CIB, and they invited Professor Visheshwaraya, expert, to plan a drainage system for Hyderabad. Then in that drainage system, and Ali Nawaz Jung was his minister and also engineer for him, expert. So in a combination, they planned the best drainage system for Hyderabad. So that's how these two giant reservoirs, and Usman Sagar, Himayat Sagar, these two were planned across the Musi River as a balancing reservoirs, so that any highest flood comes to this Hyderabad city, these two reservoirs will hold the water, and the water will be left with a controlled manner to downstream. So they planned a water for the centuries, drinking water, and also the cultivation downstream, more than 20,000 acres, they planned the agriculture purpose. So that's how these two reservoirs have come. And this is only 1920, Usman Sagar Gandipet has come. 1927, the Imai Sagar was constructed. So this this map also is drawn by us under this thing, and entire number of water bodies we have shown in 2005, including two. This is Usman Sagar, Himayat Sagar, and other water bodies in this Hyderabad metropolitan area. So then again, how these water bodies drinking source, and Gandipet का पानी का तो नाम है कि कोई गंडीपेट का पानी पिए तो फिर वापस नहीं जाएंगे, वो हैदराबाद में बैसेंगे. अभी हसन साहब भी मेरे ख्याल से रिटायर्ड लाइफ हैदराबाद में वाराणसी छोड़ना पड़े, क्योंकि जो हम आर्मी में देखते हैं, NGRA, सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया, एनी नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट, यू सी द ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड ऑफ डिकेड्स, आई एम टेलिंग यू, ultimately they settle down in Hyderabad. The बेहतरीन लोकेशन, बेहतरीन क्लाइमेट, बेहतरीन तहजीब, सिंक्रेटिक कल्चर, समझिए वहाँ से कश्मीरी से लेकर मलयाली तक रहते थे, बंगाली से लेके गुजराती तक यहीं रहते हैं. So ऐसा this beautiful culture we have, and that's how this water body is also well taken care, and it was given through gravity, and Nizam, especially Asif Jahiz, or everything they brought here. Power was the first time power was brought in South India is Hyderabad. And drinking water, this Vishweshwara has given these two water bodies. He has given the best underground drainage system. Everything, to even storm water lines they laid, and sewer lines is separately they are laid. They made cement roads. Whether you talk like a telephone or a radio or railways or artist transport, anything. It was the first to introduce in South India some of the things in the country. So that's how this Hyderabad city, well, garden city and lake city was existing. But subsequently, after the independence, even railways, when Britishers wanted to build entire country, Nizam not accepted Usman Ali Pasha. He said, come on, let me know your plans. In my Deccan, Hyderabad state, I'll construct my railways. So he constructed 2,300 kilometers railway track, and he connected to the entire Indian railways. So that how he was zoning his railway line in entire his Hyderabad state. And that how, but after independence, the neglect after 2 decades, then we prepared a master plan in urban authority formed in 75, and then 81, the master plan was prepared. That master plan, we had a lacuna that without regional plan, we made a master plan. Then we have come to know the understanding of the land use and everything. Then we started violating a lot of things. So open spaces, including water bodies. All industrial areas have come, all polluted water started letting into the water bodies, low-lying areas. And most of the water bodies now is highly polluted, highly hazardous. Liquid is thrown into that, including the solid waste. That's how these water bodies have this thing, and the density of Hyderabad has increased. And Hussain Sagar, entirely from Kukutpalli main, we get Sanat Nagar, we get industrial highly hazardous liquid waste through pipeline. It comes into Hussain Sagar. Now Hussain Sagar, जब हम हाई स्कूल में पढ़ते तो तीरने के लिए वहां जाते थे, मगर अब तीरना भैंस भी उसमें नहीं बेच सकते आप. So this now we are trying our best. We are working since 20 years to protect. We are the highest bills filed by Forum for a Better Hyderabad, which I am heading. So even today, see, it was 1,369 acres we had, but within 3 years, including government encroached, it made 1,069 acres. That is 250 acres was encroached by government itself with a IMAX theater, Necklace Road, People Plaza, like this, all these eat streets and everything. The government itself has reclaimed the land. So that's how the water bodies have shrunken. And many water bodies, when we studied for 10 years, in 10 years, 150 water bodies disappeared. Disappeared means they just become a layout, colonies. Why Hyderabad floods means there's no place to hold the water. When Nizam has made the underground drainage system those days, even after increasing so many apartments, same underground drainage system we have in the present old cities, northern side, you can say Afzalganj se leke Musharabad tak jo hai city, we have not laid a new underground drainage lines. So that how all this extra water you are bringing, because this Usman Sagar, Imai Sagar, only 7-8 TMCs we have. But later when density increased, we brought the water from Manjira up to phase 4. at Singur, then even that water is not sufficient. Then we brought from Krishna, even that water is not sufficient. Now the KCR bringing from Kaleshwaram now. It has come to outer ring main now. That means the water increase. Vishweshwara plant only 20,000 acres cultivation, but even for his surprise, the density is increased and so much water we are bringing from even Godavari to Hyderabad to drinking water for other purposes. That much water we have to let it out by polluting. So entire polluted water goes to all the water bodies through these canals to Musi River. That's how Musi River is highly polluted. And that goes to downstream from Uppal to Firjodiguda, Parvatapur and Edilabad. Then 105 acres it is cultivating. Even the person who designed these two water bodies across Musi not imagined more than 20,000 acres to be cultivated. But the kind of density attracted the city out of default, not out of design. And that is creating so much of polluted water. So what I would like to say is this need to be, again, we need to have a sewage treatment plants in every place where you generate wastewater. Even solid waste must be properly dumped. And once you treat it to the surface standard and leave it and protect all the water bodies now, even 2,400 we had, but now around 600 and above is left over. Then we have taken many other decisions in between, and we fought for the water bodies protection. Then government in 2000, they declared 169 lakes notified. That is more than 10 hectares, more than 25. Many were more than 10 hectares, but 169 was notified. Then again with this, that new GO 11 has come to protect these two water bodies those days, and so that environment catchment area will not disturb, so that we can this drinking water bodies. These water bodies not only for drinking but also for environment, recharging of groundwater, and for biodiversity. We need these water bodies. Even you bring any quantity of water from outside, still you need water bodies to be protected as a part of your environment. So that's more important. And that's how now presently with our all efforts, Hussain Sagar is to some extent secured, that is protected. Now cleaning started since 15 years, but now this government is trying to do it soon, committed. And Musi also, they formed a riverfront development corporation, allocated more than 1,600 crores or so. Now they are trying to establish 31 sewage treatment plants, so that the most of the water, polluted water, will be treated and let into the Musi River. We generate more than 4,000 million liters every day, but we are treating only less than 1,000 MLD. But now this government is adding another 1,000 MLD treating, so that maybe we try to 50% of the wastewater is going to be treated and left into low-lying areas and canals and nalas and water bodies. So 50% more. That means it may take some few years to see that of all polluted water will be treated and let into the low-lying areas and water bodies. So this water body protection is only possible unless we treat it to surface standard, leave it, it's not possible. So solid waste has to be properly, daily, it should be taken away from Hyderabad and properly it must be disposed. This all to protect water bodies. Even solid waste is a big menace we have in Hyderabad. And this is the yellow area is that's what same GO 111. The other ring is the outer ring road. When I studied this Musi River, you can say this two is Usman Sagar, Imad Sagar, and I've taken half a kilometer either side to study and see tomorrow when we restore the Musi River, and how many bastis are living, how many industrial areas we have, what are the land use it is making, and how much is the encroachments we have. This is the study we have done. And I mentioned many things about water bodies existing in this region, Qutub Shahi period as well as the Asaf Jahi period. And So these are citizens' initiatives. Time to time, we are making a dialogue with the government, and even Hussain Sagar, Usman Sagar, Rimash Sagar, Musi River. We are the civil society groups filed a bill and made at least government to understand and not to go for the wrong projects. Even Musi, they want to make it a Nandanavanam by Sabarmati River plan, and in that they had some non-environmental proper plans, and we stopped it. And again, we went with a Save Musi campaign. Government itself has come forward with the Save Musi in 2005, and we agreed Attapur to Jiaguda as a ecological zone. We agreed, and Jiaguda, Puranapur to Chadargarh, they wanted to have a heritage zone. We agreed that, but after Chadargarh, they want to make a metro zone, which is unenvironmental friendly, and we opposed that. So that's how, so far, we tried our best to protect water bodies and River Musi. And now I think about 14 bridges this government is trying to conceive and build along the Musi River, and 31 sewage treatment plants, and hope that we are getting water also from Godavari in a good quantity. And whatever the shortage of water in the water bodies, most of the water bodies in Hyderabad in future, with my experience, my association with the functionaries, I'm guessing that all the water bodies in Hyderabad now will be taken care, because they have studied more than 2,800, 900 water bodies, Chota Kunta tak, metropolitan area. Now I'm talking earlier with a small geographical area. Now is the metropolitan area is more than 7,000 square kilometers we have. So in that, now they identified, they seized the FTL and buffer zone, and under Mission Kakatiya, they try to restore more 60,000 water bodies we have in Telangana. So more than 46,000 water bodies. They try to do something, the water bodies, that is desilting and strengthening the bunds and water percolation. A lot of things happened under Mission Kakatiya. Similarly, in Hyderabad also, they have taken that initiative. I think with this water and this Mission Kakatiya, again, I feel that we'll be trying to restore water bodies, which will also recharge our aquifers, and it will have a good percolation and good environment and good biodiversity. And River Musi also maybe in few years to come, mostly we'll try to avoid, and fresh water may flow, because now the Chief Minister said what is bringing water from Kaleshwaram, also these two water bodies also will be taken care to fill the water bodies, apart from the catchment area protection and certain things, by constituting a committee protecting this and loading these water bodies, so that water will flow regularly in the Musi River. Throughout the year, any water we bring, we load these two water bodies, so that through these two water bodies, the Musi River will flow, so that we'll avoid polluted water, and the Musi may be clean tomorrow. And this water again downstream, it is used for agriculture. Whatever they want to send it to Nalgonda and other districts downstream, through this Musi River, they wanted to send it. I think if that goes well, then I think we'll again see regeneration of Musi River, and old glory we see if everything goes well. And with this, my presentation, and hope all of you will try to develop association with the water bodies and River Musi, Friends of Musi, and we all are working together. Many environmental groups and nature clubs we are working, and we'll definitely have a good association with MANUU University, and we'll try to work together. Thank you very much for giving me.
Thank you, sir. It's a very wonderful lecture presentation. Now I would like to invite Professor Shakil Ahmed Saab to introduce our chief guest, Dr. V.M. Tiwari. Professor Shakir Ahmed sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. The best introduction of any speaker is his own presentation. I think I will not be making fair, but anyway, as a formality. One thing I'd like to mention that the theme of this year's World Water Day is groundwater making invisible visible. And that's how we are very lucky to find one of the leading experts in the world on groundwater, Dr. V.M. Tiwari. So that is his introduction. He's basically a geophysicist and passed his master as well as PhD from Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. And now at present he has started his career as a scientist at National Geophysical Institute and then have made a lot of progress. In fact, you'll see that, and become the director of CES in Center for Earth Sciences in Kerala. And since last over 5 years, he is the director of National Geophysical Research Institute, CSI Laboratory. And at present, he is also the in-charge director of IICT, Indian Institute of Chemical Technology. So you can understand the workload he has got, or the expertise he has got. And he has, of course, member of several committees, all those things which I really can't mention in such a short time. He is a fellow of all 3 National Academies of Sciences in India. And I like to mention 2 things for him. Expertise is that during 2009, he started a very new field to discover something in the groundwater through satellite that's called GRACE. And you'll surprise to know that the northern India, which is supposed to be wall of water, and we think that there's no problem of water, he proved that in North India also that the groundwater level is declining from alarming level. So this is a very good discovery of his. And now he is involved with that. You'll see, I think, the Helivon survey, which is really the topic, making groundwater invisible to visual. So I'd like to invite, with these words, Dr. V.M. Tiwari to deliver his lecture.
Adab, Namaskar, and very good afternoon, my dear children. I would say, because still you are looking or appear to be very young compared to all of us. Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Hassan, distinguished delegates, scientists on dais and off the dais. It's really wonderful being with all of you, particularly when we find young people who are going to take the message forward, the country forward in coming years. While listening to wonderful talks, and the just previous talk was in a very nicely narrated mixed language of Hyderabadi, I realized that I must tell you that we not only celebrate the World Waters Day, language is very important, और आज मुझे बहुत खुशी है और मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा, मैं आभारी हूँ, शुक्रगुजार हूँ आपके मनु के ऑर्गेनाइजर्स का कि आज मुझे आपके बीच में आने का मौका दिया है। और बहुत जल्दी ही मैं कम समय में, मैं जानता हूँ कि मैं आपके लंच और जो है स्टार्ट के बीच में हूँ, तो मैं जल्दी करने की कोशिश करूँगा। लेकिन जो आवश्यक बात है वो ये है कि आज के ज़माने में आप सब लोग जिस तरह के आप यूज करते हैं मोबाइल पर, या जिस तरह के जो है डिफरेंट माध्यमों से जानकारी हासिल करते हैं, उसमें टेक्नोलॉजी साइंस का बहुत बड़ा योगदान है। तो वो उसमें पानी भी हो तो उसमें पानी में भी जो है यह बहुत ही आवश्यक है कि आज की जो आधुनिकतम जो हमारे पास टेक्नोलॉजी है उसका हम उपयोग करें और अपने को कम से कम, जहाँ पे अभी हमारे प्रीवियस जो स्पीकर ने बताया कि 4000 स्क्वायर क्यूबिक किलोमीटर का पानी हम हर साल रिसीव करते हैं जो है रेन के द्वारा, लेकिन हमारे पास पानी की कमी है। तो हम कैसे उसको उचित प्रबंधन कर सकें और उसका कैसे समाधान कर सकें, और उसमें आपको ये जान के भी बहुत आश्चर्य होगा कि सबसे ज्यादा अभी आपने जो पहला भाषण सुना, you must have understood that even in the medieval age we are dependent on the groundwater. Whatever channels, whatever the ways, whether it is nala, whether it has been talked of surangam, or they all originated from the groundwater. The water which goes inside the ground percolates from the surface to ground, and this is what is the call of United Nations World Waters Day, groundwater making invisible visible. So whatever we do today, the way we survive, it's very much on the groundwater. And I must tell you that even the present day surface water storage or the connection between surface and groundwater is making a lot of impact. So I will quickly tell you about what I am going to speak about. Why do we need to understand the aquifer system of our country, and how can we do it fast? Because scales are very important, and speed is as important when we are embarking on the journey of Atmanirbhar Bharat, when we are trying to see that all of us having potable, good quality groundwater. So let me start with a slide where most of you must have heard, studied in your high school, that there is only 2.5% of the entire water present on the Mother Earth is fresh water, and out of that, the 25% is groundwater. But if we see the application of the groundwater, the use of the groundwater, what we see, as on today, the 91% of the agriculture is fed from the groundwater in India, and almost more than 70% of the agriculture globally averaged are fed from the groundwater. And therefore, you can say the visibility of the groundwater in form of food and all is very well known. If we see the GDP per capita income for different countries, the agriculture in our country, which is fed about 91% of the groundwater, contributes 16% of our GDP. And it is the largest sector of the employment in our country. So though we say that it is unstructured employment, it is not the structured employment, but it contributes very extensively in the growth and sustenance of the human of the size of 1 billion residing in India. And these, you can say, even in the medieval period, even in the thousands of years back, had played very important role because many of the civilizations were destroyed because of the unavailability of the water. Realizing this fact, the government very much realizes it and sees that the largest user must utilize very judiciously, and each drop of the water can be used for the production of the grain, which is going to be very important as our population grows. Similarly, if we also see that the possibilities of the employment, the large number of students who are graduating here can get the possibilities of even startup of doing their own job, getting trained and work in this area, because a huge number of the government schemes are coming up which can provide the employment as well. Nevertheless, realizing the fact that we can see that not only in our country, globally there is a crisis of the groundwater, and amongst large number of countries, if we see, 12 are in the Middle East, North America, and so on, and 2 countries like India and Pakistan are in Asia, severely being stressed by the groundwater usage. And this has been seen from the different sources, different observation levels, and even using the satellite data, we could see that the largest groundwater depletion on the globe happens to be in India, northern part of the India, which is one of the place where we produce the largest amount of the grain. And therefore, it's very important that we manage our groundwater sustainably. If the same as usual condition continues in coming years, we are going to have the per capita availability of the water as such going to be much below than what a requirement of one person increases. On top of that, all of you must have heard about the climate change, and it has the several impacts. That one of them also includes the decrease in the groundwater storage because of the change in the precipitation pattern as well as the temperature changes. So biggest challenge what our country faces today, which we don't realize, which appears to be invisible, is the future farming water demand. And if we see from the report from the Niti Aayog, it says that 6% of the GDP will be lost by 2050 due to the water crisis. Similarly, 40% of will have no access to the drinking water by 2030. And these estimates are really alarming. And it's very good that we are talking to the people, talking to the students who are going to be in future and managing the scenarios in the country. The demand will increase many folds in irrigation as well as in drinking water, and therefore we must make an attempt towards managing it. I would like to show this slide very importantly because in the present era, when we talk of the health scenario, particularly when we talk of the recent global COVID pandemic, and people talk of another scenarios like if the climate change, what will be the impact because of the malaria, because mosquitoes breeding will increase and all. So you can see that the water impact will be even more than the impact what one can have with the risk of malaria. The biggest thing which we need to worry about, the hypothesis which has been thought of centuries back by Thomas Smithis, and he argued that while population increases in geometric progression, the resources to sustain this growth do not. And what we are talking of, like grains, resources of water, and there are other connected of the resources. Thus, if population grows too much faster than the food production, which is directly linked to the groundwater, this growth is checked by famine, disease, and war. Unquote. And it is ignored. I'm so happy that the initiative of Professor Shakil Ahmad has made people realize in the city of the Hyderabad today that the groundwater, the water which is so far not people have been realizing, it has been thought that it's only Usman Sagar will feed us, is not maybe correct. So I really compliment the MANUU and the initiatives of the students over here. So what do we need to do? We need to bring science, management, policy, प्रीवियस वर्कर पिछले बार जो अभी प्रेजेंटेशन हुआ उन्होंने बताया 111 जो है उसमें पॉलिसी की बात है. So policy should be based on the science, educate public and make the perceptions. And this is what the point I'm trying to emphasize, that today the initiative which has been made in morning, though it appears to be very small, but it will have very long impact in making the public perceptions and reaching to the people. But to make all this, we need to have the science-based solutions. And for that, we need to have assessment, we need to have development of the models, we need to have a decision support tool by which the policymakers can make the policies, get it implemented, and also make the common public know about it so that they follow them. And they are based on very simple principle. And all of you are aware about the hydrological cycle. Water comes from the rain, part of it, it goes inside the ground, part of it flows in a river, and finally, again, from the evaporation, evapotranspiration, again, it goes to the atmosphere, comes down. And this is how, with a simple balance, we can make the management plan. Though it appears to be trivial, but when we see, particularly in the places like Hyderabad, where the complexity of the ground inside the ground is very high. Whatever we see inside the ground water, it is in the not in a uniformly distributed way, aquifer system rather than fractured and much more complex. I would show you one slide. Nevertheless, still, and I'm very happy that Dr. Shakil Ahmad happened to be part of this work in very close by the Hyderabad. One of the decision support tool had been made and shown that how in the coming years the demand and supply will be of the groundwater in one of the watershed region. And this policy, this kind of the decision support tool has been provided to the policymakers. So what is the impact of that? The impact of that is it's based on very simple way. If you see that if there is a system called with dike, those who have studied geology, they may appreciate better, a barrier which does not allow anything to percolate. But if we have a place where the water can percolate down, we can make the recharge of the groundwater much faster. And this is how it is done. It is called managed aquifer recharge. And if we know the subsurface information, we can do this managed aquifer recharge very effectively. This was done in one of the watershed region, and that had within few years had made a change in the large number of people and the villages where the more than 18% of the crop area had been increased just within 2-3 years with one percolation tank. So the issue is what we need to know is subsurface information, and this subsurface information is so much needed because when we are trying to understand how much water goes inside the ground with the same precipitation, if in two different scenarios, different amount of water percolates down. Left side is the map of the hydrogeology, and if you see, you will find that it is too complex, and the subsurface information, what you see in bottom of that left side, you can say the different colors shows the different kinds of the rock type and the situation of the water inside the ground. So can we really make all these images possible? This is the biggest challenge which we face today. And this is important, particularly when our model, it will be based on the data, whatever we feed to the data model. Sorry. So if you see, this is the kind of the hydrogeological conditions, complexities, different kinds of the rock types, and all these can now be done with a very fast technology, and it had been initiated when Dr. Shakil Ahmad happened to be at CSIR NGRI. And this we started with a one pilot program where we used the helicopter, and we put the sensor below the helicopter, which has the electromagnetic sensor, and it moves with the speed of 60 to 80 kilometers per hour. And this can map a large area in terms of the resistivity of the formation below the ground. And this can provide the 3D data knowledge base. And quickly, to make children understand much faster, I will show you 30-second movie.
जरूरतों की बढ़ती मांग के कारण गहन जल संकट का सामना कर रहा है। सबसे बड़ी चुनौती भूजल प्रबंधन के संपोषणीय समाधानों के लिए जटिल जल भूगर्भीय प्रणालियों की पर्याप्त वैज्ञानिक जानकारी पैदा करना है। CSIR NGRI ने नवीन हेलिबॉर्न ट्रांजिएंट इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक स्कैनिंग तकनीक को अपनाया है, जो कि कम समय में मीटर पैमाने पर जलवृत प्रणाली की सूचना देने की क्षमता रखती है, जिससे किफायती तरीके से तेजी से बड़े भूभागों की जांच की जा सकती है। इस प्रक्रिया में अधिस्थल के विद्युत चालकता बिंब उत्पन्न किए जाते हैं। इस तकनीक के उपयोग से हमने देश के भिन्न प्रकार के भूगर्भीय विन्यासों में 300 मीटर तक के गहरे भूजल स्रोतों का मानचित्रण करने में अपनी क्षमता दिखाई है।
So this had been implemented at the different places, and now we can have the 3-dimensional map, as you can see here, and we will be able to see in the different places. This has also given a very new information, and one of the findings where we find that a big river flowing from the Allahabad going up to the northern India, that can be a repository for the groundwater. And similarly, realizing this fact, अभी आप लोगों ने एक मैप देखा होगा जिसमें एक शुष्क क्षेत्र बना हुआ था, एरिड रीजन, जो नॉर्थ वेस्ट इंडिया में और थोड़ा सा पार्ट हमारे सेंट्रल इंडिया में भी दिखने को मिलता है। एक बहुत बड़ा हम लोगों ने प्रोग्राम उस शुष्क क्षेत्र के लिए शुरू किया है, जिसमें पहले ग्राउंड वाटर का हम मैपिंग करेंगे और उसको रिचार्ज के प्रबंधन के लिए एक नया नेशनल इनिशिएटिव और साथ ही साथ उसके प्रबंधन के लिए इंटरनेशनल इनिशिएटिव भी हमने शुरू किया है। प्रबंधन का एक दूसरा माध्यम भी है जो हम सब लोग मिलके एक साथ कर सकते हैं, और उसका एक तरीका है कि 1 केजी जो डिफरेंट, चाहे वो ग्रेन हो, चाहे वो मीट हो, चाहे जो भी हम खाते हैं, उसमें डिफरेंट पानी की आवश्यकता होती है। तो उसकी आवश्यकता के लिए जो है यूनाइटेड नेशन क्लाइमेट चेंज जो एक प्रोग्राम है, उन्होंने असेसमेंट किया और उन्होंने कहा कि यदि हम अपने खाने की मात्रा में जो मीट है वो कम कर दें तो बिलियंस ऑफ पीपल का जो खाने का है, तो शायद हम पानी की आवश्यकता को थोड़ा और कम कर सकते हैं। और इसी के साथ मैं अपील करूंगा आप सब लोगों के लिए कि whether you would like to in the left side or in the right side of this slide, it's to you, and you have to take decisions. This is the decade for the action, water for the sustainable development. And with this, I once again thank Honorable Vice Chancellor and the organizer for giving me this opportunity to talk to mostly students and the faculty members of the MANUU. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू सर। अब समिंग अप करने के लिए और फाइनल वर्ल्ड वाटर डे मैसेज के लिए दोबारा जहमत देता हूँ प्रोफेसर शकील अहमद साहब को।
एक्चुअली हम लोग चाह रहे थे कि इसमें पैनल डिस्कशन हो, लेकिन टाइम परमिट नहीं कर रहा है हम लोग को, इसलिए हमने खुद ही ये समअप करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ। देखिए, आप लोग खामोशी सुने, क्योंकि जो है वाटर साइंस जो है अभी ऑलरेडी शुरू हो गया है, जाना है, आप सबको पढ़ना पड़ेगा, चाहे आप स्टूडेंट हो चाहे आप बड़े हों, आपको वाटर साइंस पढ़ना पड़ेगा, तभी जाके प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो सकती, नहीं हो सकती। आप देखें क्या हो रहा है, सारी नदियाँ और तालाब या कुछ बिल्कुल सूखे दिखाई देते हैं समर में, जो कि पहले नहीं था। आप जो लोग पुराने हैं वो जानते हैं इस चीज़ को। कभी सोचा आपने क्यों ऐसा होता है? ये सब जो है ग्राउंड वाटर की वजह से होता है, जिसे हम नहीं देख सकते। और बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम होती है, ग्राउंड वाटर हम देखते नहीं, समझते हैं कि बहुत ज़्यादा पानी है नीचे, जो चाहे निकालें, ये सारी समस्याएं। तो ये ज़रूरी है कि जो है पानी, ये सब जो है ग्राउंड वाटर की वजह से होता है। और ये प्रॉब्लम जो हो रही है, ये क्लाइमेट चेंज की वजह से हो रही है। तो क्लाइमेट चेंज भी एक बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है, और ये कैसे हो रहा है, ये बहुत बड़ा लेक्चर दे सकते हैं उस पर। हम स्टार्ट यहाँ से कर रहे हैं, हमें करना क्या है आगे। अभी आपने देखा 3 लेक्चर बहुत ही अच्छे और बिल्कुल टू द सब्जेक्ट हुए थे आज। पहला वाला लेक्चर आपने देखा कि पहले 400 साल पहले से लोग जो है ज़मीन के नीचे पानी को छुपा के रखते हैं। आपने नुक्कड़ नाटक देखा, वहाँ भी था, अब जो लोग अलमीरा में बंद करके रख रहे हैं पानी को, मतलब इतनी सिम्बॉलिक बंद नहीं कर सकते आप, लेकिन ये कहना था कि इतना इंपॉर्टेंट हो गया है कि आप उसे अलमीरा में बंद के लॉकर में रख रहे हैं, आप सोचिए। तो ये जो है ज़रूरी है कि उसको हम अंडरग्राउंड रखें। पहला लेक्चर आपने देखा कि जो यहाँ इंडिया में भी, ईरान में और दुनिया में बहुत जगह उसको करते हैं, और उसका सिंपल रीज़न ये है पहले कि इवेपोरेशन लॉस जो है हमारा बचेगा, क्योंकि हम जहाँ भी रह रहे हैं, ये गर्म कंट्री है, एरिड कंट्री कहते हैं इसे, एंड टेम्परेचर ज़्यादा होता है, इवेपोरेशन 50, आधे से ज़्यादा पानी हमारा इवेपोरेट हो जाता है अगर हम खुला छोड़ देंगे उसको। तो दिस इज द रीज़न, ये सब चीज़ें। तो हम अब दूसरी बात ये आती है कि जब ज़मीन के नीचे रखें अगर उसको छुपा करके, तो हमें मालूम होना चाहिए कि हमें ज़मीन के नीचे है क्या। तो सबसे मालूम गई, अभी आपने देखा डॉक्टर तिवारी ने दिखाया कि हम हेलीकॉप्टर से नीचे जाने की जरूरत भी नहीं है, हम हेलीकॉप्टर से स्कैन कर सकते हैं, जैसे सीटी स्कैन होता है वैसे हम स्कैन कर सकते हैं 500 मीटर नीचे तक से, राइट। तो ये सारी चीज़ें टेक्नोलॉजी अवेलेबल। लेकिन हमारा जो मैसेज है आज का वो ये है कि पहली बात तो ये है कि भाई थोड़ा सा दोनों साइड को, हम एक साइड हमारे साइंटिस्ट हैं, दूसरी साइड हमारे यूजर्स हैं, पॉलिसी मेकर बीच में कहीं आते हैं, दोनों में बहुत गैप है। साइंटिस्ट क्या करते हैं, वो बहुत ही बड़ा इक्वेशन बना करके वो बनाते हैं, तो दूसरे वालों को समझ नहीं आता, वो जो चाहे करते रहते हैं। हमारी ड्यूटी ये है कि हम उसे जब भी इक्वेशन सॉल्व करेंगे, उसका कोई सोल्यूशन नहीं है और है दूसरा, लेकिन उसे हम कन्वर्ट करें ऐसी लैंग्वेज जिससे सबको समझ में आ जाए, वो हम लोगों ने कोशिश की, ये करना ज़रूरी है। तो आज का मैसेज यही है कि हमें दोनों साइड से करना है। और जो यूएन का है कि भाई ग्राउंड वाटर मेकिंग इनविजिबल विजिबल, ये तो ठीक है, लेकिन हम उसके और आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं कि ग्राउंड सिर्फ विजिबल बनाने से काम नहीं चलेगा। हमारा मैसेज ये होगा कि वी हैव टू पुट द ग्राउंड वाटर इनटू द माइंड ऑफ द पीपल। सो दैट्स द लास्ट मैसेज। थैंक यू सर।
बेहद शुक्रिया सर। और प्रोग्राम के इस आखिरी मरहले में प्रेसिडेंशियल एड्रेस के लिए मैं बहुत ही अदब के साथ दरखास्त करता हूँ अपने ऑनरेबल वाइस चांसलर आली जनाब प्रोफेसर सैयद एनुल हसन साहब से।
Honorable guest speakers, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, my students, friends, अभी तक तो सब साइंस, टेक्नोलॉजी और जो इश्यूज हैं, रीजन्स हैं, उनके बारे में बोल रहे थे। सब लोग पानी के बारे में बोल रहे थे। मैं आप लोगों की तरफ से बोलूं कुछ, तो हमें खाने के बारे में बोलना पड़ेगा। पानी ही सिर्फ मिलेगा तो क्या होगा? It is indeed wonderful discourses, starting from the very beginning. Professor Katti, Qanaat system. We borrowed Qanaat system from Iran. I have seen this Qanaat system in Iran, you see, for a number of times. बड़ा इफेक्टिव है। वहाँ अभी बात कर रहे थे हम हमारे कुमार साहब के साथ कि वहाँ वाटर मिल भी है, वाटर मिल है जो उससे बिजली भी बनाते हैं और उससे दूसरी तरफ पानी भी पहुंचाते हैं। बड़ा खूबसूरत सिस्टम ईरान में। लेकिन my only regret is I can't bring Iran here. You go there and see, and you will be delighted to see. कुमार साहब के बारे में क्या कहूँ, ये सिर्फ इंजीनियर नहीं है, ये इंसाइक्लोपीडिया है। इनको सब मालूम है कहाँ क्या है, और इतना एक्सपीरियंस है कि आई एम श्योर अगर कोई इस तेलंगाना गवर्नमेंट को रेस्क्यू कर सकता है पानी के मामले में, तो वो कुमार साहब है। तिवारी जी देवरिया के रहने वाले हैं, आधे बनारसी हैं, इसलिए कि BSU के पढ़े हुए हैं, और देवरिया बहुत दूर नहीं है, जो काफी प्रॉस्पेरस एरिया है, काफी वहाँ के लोग, गोरखपुर, आजमगढ़, देवरिया, ये तो हमारे यहाँ स्टूडेंट्स भी बहुत सारे यहाँ, तो आधे बनारसी हैं। बनारस में हम भी पले बढ़े हैं, और हम गंगा के किनारे हैं, छोरा गंगा किनारे वाला। तो गंगा में यकीन करो, हम अपने बचपन में, मतलब 50 बरस पहले, 5 डिकेड्स पहले की बात है, कि नाव लेके गंगा में जब जाते थे, बड़ा शौक था नाव चलाने का, खेने का। उसको एक आध बार मड में जाके फंस भी गई, नीचे उतरे तो इतना वो जो मिट्टी है उसमें इतना चले गए, वो दूसरे ने ना तो पंप ऑफ हो जाते। तो वो देखा है हमने कि बचपन में हमारे गंगा किनारे, बीच गंगा में जाते थे तो पानी पीते थे, उसका बहुत साफ पानी था। मगर बाद में धीरे धीरे एक 20 बरस बाद ये हुआ कि इतना मैला पानी हो गया कि वहां से ऐसे उठाओ तो काइयां दिखाई देती थी। वो काई वाला पानी बीच दरिया में, जहां पूरा बह रही है दरिया, और उसके बाद उसमें इस तरह का पानी कौन पिएगा? आई एम श्योर हुसैन सागर के बारे में आप बात कर रहे हैं, एक जमाने में जो है उसका पानी पीने लायक होगा, लोग पीते होंगे, बनाया था उन्होंने, सिस्टम बनाया था ऐसा। उसके बाद गंगा एक्शन प्लान शुरू हुआ, और धीरे धीरे जितने नाले गिर रहे थे गंगा में उन सबको बंद किया गया, और गंगा के किनारे ही एक्शन प्लान में पाइपलाइंस बिछाई गई, प्योरिफिकेशन के लिए, बायोडाइवर्सिटी के लिए प्लांट्स लगे, उनको फिर एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड्स में भेजा गया। तिवारी जी बिल्कुल अच्छी तरह जानते होंगे कैसे कैसे क्या हुआ। लेकिन एक चीज होती है आदत, आदत जब खराब हो, हम ही है, मैन मेड डिस्ट्रक्शन है, नेचर नहीं कर रहा, हम कर रहे हैं। ये आज जो हम इतना जमा हुए हैं अवेयरनेस के लिए, पानी बचेगा नहीं, और पीने वाला तो कतई नहीं। अभी इन्होंने बताया, वो एक कोट भी दिखाया एक साइंटिस्ट का, और उसमें ये बताया है कि अवेयरनेस नहीं, अवेयरनेस अब एक दूसरे से लिंक्ड है, एक चेन बनी हुई है कि भाई एक खास आबादी रहती है कहीं पर, उसके लिए सफिशिएंट है एग्रीकल्चरल लैंड, उसके लिए ग्रेन्स उग रहे हैं, आप खाइए पीजिए मस्त रहिए। मगर पॉपुलेशन, एज द पॉपुलेशन इंक्रीजेस, you know, the issues, the problems started cropping up. अब क्या होता है कि वो उतना दाना है नहीं आपके खाने के लिए, तो आप दूसरे रास्ते तलाश करते हैं। जब आप दूसरे रास्ते तलाश करते हैं, जमीन से खिलवाड़ करते हैं, तो बीमारियां आती हैं। फिर मलेरिया है, वो कहते हैं ना, एम से जितनी मेरी बीमारियां सब आ जाएंगी, मॉस्किटोज हो जाएंगे चारों तरफ। तो ये जब बढ़ने लगे, जो ब्रीडिंग होने लगेगी, तो होगा क्या? आज हैदराबाद में हर दूसरे घर में पंप लगा हुआ है। आप क्या कर रहे हैं? पूरी जमीन को सोख लेंगे तो फिर होगा क्या? और कुमार साहब को आप 50 बरस बाद पुकारेंगे तो हो सकता है कि आ भी जाए, लेकिन कुमार साहब फिर कहेंगे कि भाई हमने बहुत समझाया था तुमको, समझ में नहीं आया, अब हम नहीं आने वाले। अभी संभलने की जरूरत है, अभी रियलाइज करने की जरूरत है। तो वो जो एक्शन प्लान था उसकी वजह से थोड़ी सफाई हुई, मगर फिर लोगों ने उसमें डालना शुरू कर दिया वो गंदगी। पुलिस लगाई गई वहां पर कि कोई गंदगी ना हो, लेकिन पुलिस तो आप जानते ही हैं। अब फिर एक गवर्नमेंट के इनिशिएटिव्स थे कि जिसमें घाटों को बनाया गया, मॉडल घाट बनाए गए, लोग जाते हैं स्नान के लिए, रिलीजियस प्लेस। अब देखिए यही होता है, लोग कभी कभी कहते हैं कि रिलीजन सब इसीलिए है, वो नशा है, वो फला है, वो फला है। कभी कभी रिलीजन बड़ा काम आता है। आप एक पेड़ को नाड़े से बांध दीजिए धागे से, वो पेड़ सेक्रेड हो गया। इसी तरह से आप अगर वर्शिप करने लगिए किसी चीज की, उसको मानिए कि ये आपकी लाइफ लाइन है, और उसके बाद उसको आप देख के ये कहिए कि भाई ये नेचर ने हमको दिया है, ये हमारी जिंदगी है। जब ये समझने लगेंगे तो उसकी वैल्यू भी होगी। और बार बार रिलीजियस बुक्स में, अभी शकील साहब ने कहा और फरियाद साहब कह रहे थे कि बार बार फ्लोरा एंड फोना की बात आई है, साफ पानी की, सफाई की, हाइजीन की है। मौलाना आप तशरीफ रखते हैं यहाँ, बताइए तहतल अनहार क्या है? समझते हैं वो कि हमने नहरों के नीचे से जन्नत बनाई है। लीजिए, नहरों के नीचे से जन्नत बनी। तो वो कहते हैं दूध की नहर, अब लोग कहते हैं शराब की नहर। शराब की नहीं है, शरबत की है। वो चक्कर में मत पड़िएगा, वो सब है वहां, जन्नत में मिलेगा। मगर यहाँ भी तो है, यहाँ भी तो जन्नत बनाओ इसको। ये जो तुमको दिया है कुदरत ने, इतना बड़ा सब कुछ, इतना बड़ा इन्वायरमेंट है, मगर क्या है, आदमी इतना एम्बिशियस है। वो क्या कर रहा है? पेड़ों को काट रहा है, जमीनों को खराब कर रहा है, मकान बना रहा है। अभी देखो यहाँ मानू में क्या हुआ, हमें तो ये माफिया ने जो है वो सैंडविच कर दिया। इधर से हाईवे निकाल दी, उधर से हवाई निकाल दी, वाटर बॉडी हमारी उधर चली गई। हम क्या करें भाई? हम चाहते थे कोई वाटर बॉडी मिल जाए कि जिसको हम सजा वजा के तुम्हारे सामने ला के रखें कि भाई देखो आओ, उसमें बच्चों से कहें कि चलो स्विमिंग किया जाए, मगर वो तो हमसे कट ऑफ हो गई। हम उधर जाएंगे तो पब्लिक प्लेस हो गई, उसको तो हम बायोडाइवर्सिटी में भी कन्वर्ट नहीं कर सकते, नहीं है हमारे पास। अब ये हम भी मजबूर थे, हम ये नहीं कहेंगे कि रहमतुल्लाह साहब को मजबूर किया गया, मजबूरी थी तो देना पड़ा। गवर्नमेंट का है, हाईवे पहले निकले, बाद में आपको रिजवान साहब बैठे हैं, ये तो कंप्यूटर पर सब देखते रहते हैं हो क्या रहा है। और अगर आवाज उठा दें तो इनकी आवाज तो मिस्र तक भी पहुंचेगी। जो नाइल है, जिसके अंदर जो सिविलाइजेशन थी ना, वो नाइल, वो बेहतरीन क्रॉप उधर होती थी, इसीलिए वो पूरी इजिप्शियन सिविलाइजेशन जो है वो नाइल के बेसिन के ऊपर हुई है। सब देखा, सारी सिविलाइजेशन। अभी हमारी हड़प्पन सिविलाइजेशन है, वो भी ड्रेनेज सिस्टम के लिए थी, फॉलो नहीं किया हमने। हम इतने एम्बिशियस हैं कि अब सारी चीजों को तोड़ ओड़ के सिर्फ महल बना दिया, और उसके बाद ये नहीं सोचा कि इस महल बनने के बाद आने वाली जनरेशन के पास इसमें पानी होगा कि नहीं। वो दुबई में देखिए क्या क्या बन रहा है, बुर्ज खलीफा बना दिया और क्या बना दिया। लेकिन वहां दो तरह के पानी हैं, पीने वाला पानी बाजार से खरीदिए, और जो घरों में आ रहा है उसके लिए मीटर लगाए, कितना आप सर्व करें उसी के हिसाब से पेमेंट कीजिए। परेशान है लोग, क्यों? ये सब है, आपने इन्वायरमेंट को खराब किया है। आपने ये जो पूरे कॉस्मिक सिस्टम थे उनको खराब किया। तो इसको मिलाने के लिए जरूरी क्या है? अब आप सोचिए, पानी में जो आप पानी पीते हैं, अभी चलिए थोड़ी देर और बात कर लें, खाने की बात करेंगे। पानी में एक वाकया है, वाकया बताते हैं, वो बड़ी बड़ी दिलचस्प बात है। पानी में एक बादशाह ने दूसरे बादशाह के पास एक बड़ा सा बर्तन, छिछला सा बर्तन लगन भेज दी और कहा इसमें सब कुछ रख के भेज दो। वो चकरा गया बादशाह, इसमें सब कुछ रख के भेज दो का मतलब क्या है? बड़े बड़े लोगों को बुलाया, किसी की समझ में नहीं आया। कोई कहता था इसमें फल रख के भेज दो, कोई कहता था इसके अंदर शरबत रख के भेज दो, कोई कहता था खजूर रख के भेज दो। भाई कुछ बात बनने को नहीं, सब कुछ रख के भेज दो। एक इंटेलिजेंट आदमी था, उसने कहा इसमें पानी रख के भेज दो। पानी वो चीज है जिसमें सब कुछ है। आप देख रहे हैं ये पानी की वैल्यू। तो हमको अपने लिए नहीं, आने वाले दिनों के लिए ये सोचना पड़ेगा कि हम इस खुदा की दी हुई नेमत को कैसे इस्तेमाल करें, कितना इस्तेमाल करें। बार बार बताया गया है। अभी कोई कह रहा था कि वुजू के लिए भी उतना ही पानी सर्व कीजिए जितनी जरूरत है, वेस्ट मत कीजिए। तो ये हिदायतें हमको मिली हैं। और आपको अगर आप उपनिषद को पढ़ेंगे तो सब आके अपना अपना इंट्रोडक्शन देते हैं। वायु अपना इंट्रोडक्शन दे रही है, जल अपना इंट्रोडक्शन दे रहा है, धरती अपना इंट्रोडक्शन दे रही है, अग्नि अपना इंट्रोडक्शन दे रही है। लेकिन ये ब्रह्मांड बनेगा नहीं सिर्फ अलग अलग इंट्रोडक्शन से। जब इनका इकोसिस्टम बनेगा तब फिर ब्रह्मांड की रचना होगी। आप अलग, हम अलग, ये अलग, वो अलग। अपनी आइडेंटिटी तो ठीक है, कार्ड लेके जाइए, मगर जब आपको मिलाया जाएगा या आपका अम्ब्रेला बनाया जाएगा तो कहा जाएगा ये मानू के लोग हैं। ताली बजाओ अपने लिए। दिस इज हाउ द सिस्टम वर्क्स। ये सिस्टम इसी तरह से काम चलता है। इसको मिला के रखना पड़ता है। आप सब मिलकर रहेंगे। ये बातें शेयर कीजिए दूसरों से भी। अपने घरों में जाइए तो इन बातों को शेयर कीजिए, उनको इन्वॉल्व कीजिए, अपने दोस्तों को, दुश्मनों को भी इन्वॉल्व कीजिए। अभी दुश्मनी तो है, उसको भी इन्वॉल्व कीजिए। जब वो आपको दरवाजे पर आप हों और आप कहें कि मुझे एक बोतल पानी चाहिए, और जब वो पानी न दे तो दूसरे दिन जब आपके पास पानी हो तो उसके घर पर पहुंचा दीजिए कि ये लो हमारी तरफ से भी पानी ले लो। But this, let us not destroy this ecosystem. हम एक दूसरे के पूरक हैं, एक दूसरे को पूरा कर रहे हैं। इसी तरह से एनवायरनमेंट हमें भी पूरा कर रहा है, हमको दे रहा है, हम ले नहीं रहे, हम उसके साथ खिलवाड़ कर रहे हैं। So let us get together, put our heads together, think about tomorrow and preserve water and provide clean and fresh water to all the people of this world. Thank you very much.
बहुत शुक्रिया सर। आज सुबह से जो प्रोग्राम हो रहा है उनका मकसद यही है कि एक बेदारी लाना, ताकि पानी न सिर्फ हमारे लिए बल्कि आने वाली जनरेशन्स के लिए भी बची रहे और हम इस्तेमाल करते रहें। तो मुझे लगता है जो भी मानू के लोग हैं, एटलीस्ट एक सबक तो आज हमें मिला है, और इस सबक के साथ हम अपने वापस जाएंगे ऑडिटोरियम में कि बिला वजह एक कतरा भी पानी का ज़ाया नहीं करेंगे, हम बचाएंगे। ख़ास तौर से बच्चों से मैं एक बार चाहूँगा, बचाएंगे। बहुत शुक्रिया। अब मैं वोट ऑफ थैंक्स के लिए दावत देता हूं हमारी सेंटर फॉर डेक्कन स्टडीज़ की डायरेक्टर प्रोफेसर सलमा अहमद फारूकी साहब।
It has indeed been a very fruitful collaboration of multidisciplinary nature between the School of Sciences and the H.K. Sherwani Center for Deccan Studies. This is what we are being told to do nowadays, to collaborate, to have projects and academics of multidisciplinary nature, and this is, I think, a fine example of that. Now that we have reached the end of the program, I take this opportunity to propose the formal vote of thanks, and on behalf of the School of Sciences and the H.K. Sherwani Centre for Deccan Studies, MANUU, I first convey my gratitude to the Honorable Vice Chancellor Sahab, Professor Syed Ainul Hasan Sahab, for presiding over this program and sharing his valuable insights with us. My sincere thanks to Shri V.M. Tiwari Sahab, Director of NGRI and IICT, the Chief Guest of the day, for his insightful address. I also wish to express my gratitude to our guest speakers, Shri Vedakumar Manikunda Sahab, Chairman of the Deccan Heritage Academy, and Dr. Govindan Kuti Sahab from the Government College Chittoor for their excellent, thought-provoking presentations. All the speakers have enlightened us about the depletion of groundwater resources and shown us how well water was conserved in earlier times. Now, Professor Shakil Ahmed from the School of Sciences has played a pivotal role and in making this program happen. I also thank him for the message that he has conveyed to us on World Water Day. I would like to thank all the guests for their presence, the school children who are here with us for making this program both online and physical a success. I also wish to extend my sincere thanks to the entire faculty of the School of Sciences, Polytechnic, and the H.K. Sherwani Centre for Deccan Studies, the PRO and his team for comparing the show, and the able team of the Instructional Media Centre led by the Director IMC for the enormous support in organizing this program. I thank the proctor and his team and the provosts of the hostels for helping in the student participation for the Walk for Water. And lastly, I also convey my thanks to the Cyberabad Police Department for having helped in the coordination or in the Walk for Water this morning. Thank you one and all.
बेहद शुक्रिया मैम। मौलाना आज़ाद उर्दू यूनिवर्सिटी की रिवायत के मुताबिक हर प्रोग्राम के आखिर में नेशनल एंथम के साथ हम उसका खात्मा करते हैं। मैं अपने इंस्ट्रक्शनल मीडिया सेंटर के साथियों से दरख्वास्त करूंगा, आप सभी से दरख्वास्त है अपनी नशिस्तों पे खड़े हो जाएं एहतराम में नेशनल एंथम के। मीडिया सेंटर के साथियों से दरख्वास्त है नेशनल एंथम प्ले करें।
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा, तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तव जय गाथा। जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
वीसी साहब की इजाज़त से इस प्रोग्राम के इख्तिताम का ऐलान किया जाता है।